Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on Very Cold Lasagna. And in this video, I want to talk about the big question that has been back on my mind, pretty much back on everyone's mind, regarding Jey Uso, the one. Why am I talking about this? Well, it's because for Jey Uso, he made a pretty bold decision this past Friday on SmackDown, and it's actually a decision nearly 3 years worth making. Because Jey Uso had to choose between staying with Roman Reigns or staying with his brother, like a pretty big dilemma that WWE wrote in. And he had to make that decision this past Friday. And it is a decision damn near worth waiting 3 years for. He super kicked Roman's head off and sided with his brother Jimmy. And now, in almost 2 weeks' time, we're finally getting the match one of the matches that we're waiting for. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa of the Bloodline taking on the Usos in an all-out Bloodline Civil War. Yes, the Samoan sequel to Captain America Civil War. I'm just kidding. But anyway, yeah. And that brings up an interesting question to note as we head towards Money in the Bank, as we head towards eventually SummerSlam. Should Jey Uso dethrone Roman Reigns as the undisputed WWE champion? Now, people are saying yes. People are saying no. I've had talks with my friends about Roman Reigns possibly being dethroned by Jey Uso. There are pros and there are cons to this. But before we can even get to that discussion, I do want to bring up the fact that, well, this whole reign started with obviously Roman Reigns, but his first challenger ended up being Jey Uso. They had their two matchups at Night of Champions in 2020, and then in Hell in a Cell in that namesake pay-per-view, in that crazy emotional Hell in a Cell matchup that forced Jey to be the right-hand man of Roman Reigns. And then from there on out, Jey would have would just accept the role as the right-hand man. And then, as he stated, he would go on to main event SmackDowns, main event pay-per-views, and then win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, be an undisputed tag team champion with his brother. And then now we're here at this point where he's no longer aligned with Roman Reigns. He's basically sided with his brother because, yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about your loyalty to like your actual blood, your brother. So now it comes down to a question like, yeah, it all started with Jey. Do we finish it with Jey? So we're potentially getting closer to the end. And that brings up to like, should they do it? Shouldn't they do it? It's interesting. Now, there are pros to this. As I mentioned, yeah, it would be a really great ending to this Bloodline story if they have Jey win the undisputed WWE championship. Because, like I said before, this whole thing started with Jey Uso being that first challenger, and he lost twice in his mind, brutal fashion. Jimmy had to basically throw in the towel for him in the first matchup, and then in the second matchup, Jey had to say "I quit" to stop Roman Reigns from brutally beating down on Jimmy even further. Otherwise, Jimmy was gonna practically die in the ring, like storyline wise, of course. And now, if they do this match at SummerSlam or whichever pay-per-view, Jey has a chance of redemption to right that wrong in that third match, where you could potentially see the crowd erupt for him and give him all his flowers, and him finally getting that one up over the tribal chief. It would be a great moment for him, and it would solidify him as main event Jey Uso. Now, that does come with some cons. That does come with some problems. It's like, what are you going to do with him afterwards? Like, how do you follow that up? It's kind of like that thing with Money in the Bank. It's like you have to have this long-term plan all ready to go. It's like you pick your winner, you pick the Money in the Bank winner, then you decide how you want to cash it in, and then you got to have a follow-up plan. Well, just like with all these world championship contenders, it's like you got to have a follow-up plan after them. Because if you don't, then you're kind of fucked. Just look at how Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are right now. They don't really necessarily have a follow-up plan on after that big WrestleMania win that capped off like their part of the Bloodline story. So you have to wonder like what's going to be Jey Uso's like follow-up plan if he ends up beating and dethroning Roman Reigns for the Undisputed title. So that's another big issue. Another positive though is that for all the people that want Roman Reigns' title run to end, there you go. There you go. And not only that, it also takes some of the weight off of Roman's shoulders of carrying that title. And for all the people that are wanting new faces to be seen around that title, there you go. There you go. But that also leads to another issue. It's like Roman has held that title for so long, is that they didn't really build up any like legit challengers outside of a couple of people. And now once you strap the rocket onto Jey, it's like, who's going to fight him? Maybe other than him, other than Roman, Solo Sikoa, and then who's next after that? So it's like, where are the challengers coming from after those two? So it's going to be an that's something to possibly consider. Like, it's like where are the challengers going to be coming from for Jey? And then another potential downside is that I could see in this is I'm not really an analytics or statistics guy, but the ratings could possibly dip for SmackDown if Jey can't prove that he can be a ratings pull, like Roman. Like, not necessarily like Roman was, but you know, he can't prove he has the charm. He can't prove he has the charisma, the character to back himself up as a world champion. So yeah, if he can't prove he's the ratings, he can't pull in like some decent ratings, then WWE is gonna like, okay, we gotta give this title either back to Roman or to someone else that can. So either way, it's gonna be an interesting situation. And I don't know how. I don't know. I do think, in my opinion, that Jey Uso should be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns because, as I've noted before, it would be a full circle moment from when this whole story started back in the Thunderdome to whether it's at SummerSlam or at Payback in Pittsburgh or whenever. I don't think they stretched this all the way out to WrestleMania 40. I think that's too long. In my opinion. Like, do you really want to wait till WrestleMania 40 to have, I mean, I'm sorry to say it, Cody Rhodes to finish his story? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Cody Rhodes could potentially be the WWE champion, just not like then. I think Jey Uso needs to finish this story, like his story with Roman Reigns. Like, it doesn't have to be a necessary overly long title reign, but I think Jey Uso, like, to really finish the Bloodline story, like to really give perhaps one of the greatest endings that we've seen in a storyline, in a professional wrestling storyline, you have to give it to the guy that has been through so much, whether like in a storyline sense, of course, whether physically, emotionally, and verbally, in all facets. You have to let Jey win this title over Roman Reigns. Sure, it will affect you, especially when WWE is near its last stages with the merger with Endeavor and the UFC. Like, well, I don't know when that's going to be, but there's an opportunity there to cap off one of the greatest storylines in WWE in the Bloodline with Jey Uso standing on top against Roman Reigns. We don't know when. We don't know how we get to that point. Hopefully it's not too long. We don't drag it out too long. I mean, yeah, I do feel like we need to get to that point, but whenever we do get to that point, it'll be damn near worth it if Jey Uso, it does end up being the one, if they do make Jey Uso the one that dethrones Roman Reigns as the undisputed WWE champion. It'll be worth it. Like, at least there. But anyway, those are just my opinions. Those are just my thoughts on this subject matter. What do you think, though? Should Jey Uso dethrone Roman Reigns as the undisputed WWE champion? Like I said, there are definitely pros and cons on why he should and shouldn't dethrone Reigns as the undisputed champion, but I'd like to know your thoughts on this matter as well. But anyway, let me know your thoughts, and let's have a discussion about it in the comments below. Anyway, this is DylanLasagna signing out. A very cold lasagna, and keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge with your takes on the world of sports. And until next time, peace out.